Hi guys, Harry here, and I had this video planned out for several days, and then a new rumour came out and started circulating, of course, in the Doctor Who fandom, and it made this video more relevant than it should probably have had any right in being. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below. Let's get into the video. So first, let's start off with the rumour which made this video more relevant. Of course, this is a rumour, so there is probably no truth in it, but I just wanted to go over it as, I don't know, it connects so well into this video, and I had this whole video planned before I even heard about this rumour. But the rumour is that Steven Moffat could possibly be returning to Doctor Who in a writing capacity. So, the rumour came from this one Twitter account, Viewer Anon, and he had these two pictures, a picture of Steven Moffat standing next to a picture of Ncuti Gatwa, and then under that he also had a written by Steven Moffat picture. So this is of course heavily hinting at the fact that Steven Moffat is returning for Series 14, of course in the Russell T Davies era too. And yeah, I could see this possibly happening. From what I could see in Viewer Anon's account, most of his posts were about the MCU and the DCEU and of course the upcoming DCU. And they weren't really many predictions from what I saw. I have heard good things, that he has a good track record of predicting certain things that have been, especially about the MCU. But this is his first thing, well, his first tweet, I'm pretty sure, about Doctor Who. I have never seen anything other, like any other Doctor Who stuff from his Twitter account. And also it didn't seem that like there were a lot of, well, rumours that he started that became true, but maybe I just didn't look back far enough. However, I want to say that this is a rumour, and Steven Moffat did say that he would have to be mad to come back to Doctor Who in a junior writer position when he was once showrunner of the whole show.
It would be a bit, career madness, even by my standards, to go back into a junior capacity on a show I used to run. I would have to be insane to do that.
So this is just a rumour, but I just wanted to, mention it as it connects so well into this video. So now getting into the video I actually had planned, and that is that River Song's whole gimmick, her timeline of where she meets the Doctor, doesn't work. Now, River Song's timeline, she of course never meets the Doctor in the right order. That is one of the big things surrounding her character. And how it's presented is that River's timeline is supposed to be the opposite of the Doctor's.
Where are we up to? Have we done the Bone Meadows? What's the Bic?
Stay away from it.
What is it, though?
Her diary.
Our diary.
Her past, my future. Time travel. We keep meeting in the wrong order.
Of course, the evidence for this being true is the first time the Doctor meets River, the first time we see him meet River, the first time the Doctor reacts to River, remembers her, is the time when River dies. It's the last time River meets the Doctor, because of course she dies. And then, of course, fast forwarding a couple of series, we see the Doctor and River kiss, and this is for the first time from the Doctor's perspective, but it is the last time from River's perspective.
You know what they say? It's the first time for everything.
And a last time.
Of course, again, that kind of lays out how it is the opposite of the Doctor's timeline. River and the Doctor's timeline is the opposite. And also, when Amy asks what is in River's diary, the Doctor tells her to stay away and says that River's diary contains her past and his future.
Where are we up to? Have we we done the bone, Meadows?
What's the bick?
Stay away from it.
What is it, though?
Her diary.
Our diary.
Her past. My future. Time travel. We keep meeting in the wrong order.
Of course, this isn't being as explicit as the first two pieces of evidence I presented, but it still is put in a way that River's timeline is opposite to the Doctor's. However, this is where River's timeline kind of falls apart. Because this doesn't work, as River has met all the Doctors. She has met Doctors 1 through to 9, as well as 10, 11, 12, and 13. And, kind of met them through time travel. And she wiped their memory at the end so they wouldn't remember seeing her until when she meets the 10th Doctor for the first time. From our perspective, of course, she meets the 10th Doctor in Adventures after that. But it's kind of weird, the fact that she meets previous Doctors, but she wasn't supposed to meet them, as she only meets them through time travel, vortex manipulator, and then she wipes her memories so they wouldn't remember her, but she's of course fine with when she comes to the library and dies. Maybe because she dies this time, and that's why she's, of course she couldn't wipe the Doctor's memory, but it just seems a bit weird. And of course, continuing with the episode where River Song dies, of course, Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, of course, I feel like the end game was that the 10th Doctor was going to be the youngest incarnation that she ever saw. Because the way River touches the 10th Doctor's face and says, "You're younger than I've ever seen you."
Your eyes. You're younger than I've ever seen you.
Of course, she could just be referring to the 10th Doctor, or his face/eyes, as we now have David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, so she could meet the 14th Doctor. But if you really look at the way Alex Kingston plays the role of River, I think before there was any plans for her to have expanded media, the 10th Doctor was supposed to be the youngest Doctor River ever met, and David Tennant at this time was supposed to be the youngest incarnation, again, that River ever met. And believe it or not, River's death in Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead is the least wonky thing about her timeline. So, River Song, or Melody Pond's birth, happens halfway through the 11th Doctor's era in A Good Man Goes to War back in Series 6. However, when we get to Series 7B, River again is dead, presumably from her time in Series 4, and this is revealed in Name of the Doctor.
That can't be right.
No, it can't.
She's not dead.
Oh, she's dead, I'm afraid. She's been dead for a very long time.
Yeah, probably should have mentioned that. Never the right time.
But I met her.
However, just a couple of episodes earlier, in Series 7A, River is alive in The Angels Take Manhattan, and it just is wonky. And also, River, just before she is set to go to the library and die, she spends one night, or 24 years, with the 12th Doctor on Beryllium in the Series 9 episode, The Husbands of River Song. And that is so weird. If the timeline happened in the way that it is opposite to the Doctor's, Melody Pond, River Song's birth, should be the last episode that we ever see her in, and then it should go all the way from there to Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead, and that is how it should work. But it's jumping around. 1 minute she's alive, and it's after her birth, episodes after her birth, but then she's dead also in episodes after her birth, and it makes it so complicated to understand. So personally, I think River Song's timeline was supposed to be the opposite to the Doctor's, and as I said, the last episode with River Song should have been with her birth in A Good Man Goes to War. However, if you don't agree with me that River Song's timeline is supposed to be the opposite of the Doctor, the fact that she appears to Amy in the wedding of River Song back in Series 6, and River specifically states that she's come from the Byzantium, which is where Amy and the Doctor and River ended up in Series 5 in the Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, and she gets to Amy by Vortex Manipulator. This means that her own timeline is running opposite, or at least not in the same order as her parents, which makes it, how do you even get that character in a cohesive order? And ignoring that it's just hard to know where this character's start and end is, that makes it even more impossible if her timeline isn't running opposite or just in a different order to her parents, as River grew up with her parents when she still went by Melody Pond in her second incarnation or regeneration before she became River Song. She literally grew up with her parents, and that is shown in Series 6 episode Let's Kill Hitler. And she grew up with her parents. However, from past examples, we know that her timeline runs completely differently to her parents, yet somehow she managed to grow up with them in her second incarnation. And as I mentioned just before, Riversong has a vortex manipulator, and it is shown in The Wedding of Riversong that she is supposed to be the Doctor's biggest love, or she loves him more than anyone else ever could.
I can't let you die without knowing you are loved by so many and so much, and by no one more than me.
However, if she has a vortex manipulator, couldn't she just be with him forever? She wouldn't have to go to the library and die before the Doctor even knows her. I mean, that might create a paradox, but would it be a weirder or more complicated paradox than Amy naming her daughter after her daughter? Of course, naming her daughter Melody Pond after her friend, who was her daughter, Melody.
Reynolds, short for...
Melody.
Yeah, I named my daughter after her.
You named your daughter after your daughter.
And also, in the Steven Moffat era, let's be honest, there was a paradox at least every other episode. So, really, this could have been a workable way around it, but I guess River doesn't really love the Doctor and the Doctor doesn't really love River, because that would have just been an easy way of saying that she doesn't die in the library, but I suppose we saw that, so it will be a paradox, and I don't know, it'd be even too much for the show. However, I do have one last bit of evidence that I am convinced shows that Riversong's timeline runs in opposite to the Doctor's, or it was supposed to, until her gimmick doesn't work, as she is just thrown her into random episodes at random times in her timeline. So, of course, at the end of The Wedding of Riversong, back in Series 6, Amy is in her garden, and River comes to her by Vortex Manipulator from, of course, Series 5's Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. And while they're talking about it, Amy is sad that the Doctor has apparently died, because that's one of the things that happens in Series 6. And Amy says to River, I suppose he's not dead for you. You're seeing younger versions of him. To which River replies, yeah, I am.
Not for you, I suppose. You're seeing the younger versions of him running around having adventures.
Yeah, I am.
However, this is before River has met the 12th Doctor, and even before she has met the 11th Doctor from Series 7A, of course, in The Angels Take Manhattan, which are future, older incarnations of the Doctor. But River explicitly states that she is only seeing younger versions of the Doctor, which means that her timeline makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Now, of course, I love Riversong, I love Alex Kingston. She did an amazing job as this character. But River, as a character, her main gimmick, which of course is her timeline, which is supposed to be the opposite to the Doctor, doesn't work, as she just pops up at random times, and sometimes she isn't even alive, and is just crazy and insane. But also, what was also crazy and insane is that this video became even more relevant with Steven Moffat, the rumour that he might be returning to Doctor Who. And of course, let me know down in the comments down below if you think River Song's timeline is a mess as well, or if you think her timeline makes perfect sense. If you do, let me know how down in the comments below. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out, and I will see you in the next one.